you guys, and welcome to my channel. Charles Robert Darwin, that is a scientist from the 1800s. He contributed a lot to science, to say the least, right? And he had an evolutionary theory on natural selection. So within this theory, he talks about this concept of the survival of the fittest, all right? And he indicated that he believes this is a natural desire among all living things. All right, so with that being said, if we want to, for the sake of this video and figurative speech, if you will, if we want to take the narcissist and look at them as a species, then and connect to this theory, then we could safely assume that they would want to have a way to try to survive, right? They want to try to survive just like me and you. Now, their ways of doing so, we could question the proficiency of it. Does it work for them every time? Of course not. Nothing is 100%, right? But nonetheless, they do have tactics. They do have ways and tools that they try to utilize to survive, okay? To survive being a narcissist in this world. And some of you might be like, Lakia, that's not too hard nowadays, because that's kind of the running theme in most societies, right? They kind of co-sign it and endorse it. It's all around us, right? But if we want to look at it from another angle, as far as surviving within their connections to the people that are in their nucleus or in their stratosphere, if you will. All right, so I've compiled a list here of 5 ways that a narcissist tries to survive. All right, so let's go ahead down this list. And this is important to know because it's basically when we understand how they operate and what they are to begin with, we're getting further information and tools on how they manipulate, basically. Okay. So this could easily be 5 ways that a narcissist tries to manipulate, all right? But you know what? In the theory of Darwin, we're going to talk about survival here, all right? Because they're using it for that as well. So the first thing that I have on here is flight mode. And this is, you know, common to all mammals, actually. When our brains are triggered and we don't feel safe, it's 3 things that we're going to do. We're going to flight, which is leave, you know, or try to get away from that scene. We're going to freeze. You know, sometimes our body just really shuts down and we freeze in the moment. And when we freeze, or when the brain chooses to freeze for us when we are afraid, it takes away our muscle control. And I've mentioned this in some way earlier videos on the channel. This is why deers a lot of times get hit in the middle of the road. They're running and, you know, they're not as civilized, you know, as we are as human beings. They don't understand about cars so much. So they're just trying to cross the road and, you know, they're not looking both ways. They run out into the middle of the road and maybe it's night and they see these headlights at the last second and then they just look and they freeze, you know, instead of trying to hurry across the road. They're mammals. Their brain freezes them. And then if the driver is not able to stop, then the mammal gets hit, you know. So that's what's happening. That person is freezing. All right. So we have the flight, we have the freezing, and then we have the fight. You know, and the fighting is basically when you're trying to defend yourself. But obviously for the deer, the best way to defend themselves is not to go against the car, to get away from the car. All right. But for the sake of my number 1, we're talking about flighting. And this is very relevant to narcissistic abuse because discard is that 3rd part of the cycle of abuse, in which they're love bombing, devaluing, and discarding. So the discard is basically the flight there. So yeah, when it's too hot in the kitchen, if you will, if you know they're about to have a day of reckoning. They're probably the reasons why the courts have to, when people are going to court and, you know, they're going to be sentenced, they might say, oh, you might have to stay in jail until that day comes because there's a flight risk, you know. Someone is afraid, someone's scared, they might try to flight, they might try to leave the scene of the crime, if you will. So to be able to get out of being held accountable, yeah, they might flight. And this is their survival mode. They don't want to be accountable. They don't want to be responsible. They don't want to be faced. They don't want you to hold a mirror to their face. So they're going to run from all of that. And that's why months ago I made a video called that they are runners, and they really are. You know, they are not committed to the right things. I tell you that. They have commitments, but not to the right things. All right. So flight. Number 2 on my list here is gaslighting or lying. You know, this is definitely something that a narcissist is going to do for survival because, you know, they don't have a vested interest in the other party really understanding and knowing the truth. The truth can be very empowering if you're not in resistance to it. Just think about it. You know, you can make the best informed decisions once you accept the truth. You can make the best informed decisions. And if the truth is, I'm lying to you, I'm manipulating you, I'm playing games with you, I'm abusing you, and, you know, a whole list of other toxic things that we could easily say that they're doing, what type of informed decision will you make? So yeah, when this person is figuring things out and perhaps they try to approach the narcissist as they would a normal relationship and say, you know what, this is kind of off here. Let me talk to this person about this. Like, are they really doing this? Especially after being love bombed and it's leaving you puzzled. Like, well, they were just treating me this way and now they're treating me that way. You'll try to approach them. So now they're going to lie. They're going to deny, and this is gaslighting you know, and it will work on someone who can be manipulated and who has inner conflict about what the narcissist is doing. Because I've talked about a switch and bait with them, like I said, where they're treating you good, then they're not treating you good, and this creates a conflict. Like, well, who is this person? And you have these behaviors and then you have those behaviors. Okay, so they're definitely going to be lying and gaslighting to try to preserve themselves, and this can be on any level, not even, you know, just personal relationships, because narcissists are everywhere and a lot of people deal with them at work. So many people get coaching with me from trying to manage having a narcissistic boss, because, you know, it may not be in our logic to just be able to up and just quit your career, or if you had a lot of substantial time with the company, you don't have something else lined up. In the meanwhile, you need some tools, you need the right perceptions and mentality on how to deal with this. And, you know, so it extends outside of our personal relationships, because narcissists come in all shapes and sizes, and they can be, you know, they can, you could be interacting with them on all different types of levels. All right. So yes, the lying and the gaslighting, trying to manipulate you to, that you didn't see what you see, you didn't hear what you hear, you didn't experience what you experienced. All right. So number 3, the third way that narcissists try to survive is through flying monkeys. You know, you hear that saying, there's power in numbers. That can be very true. And they realize this. So if they can convince enough people to fall for their false masks, to believe their lies and games and manipulation, then that makes them feel validated in the lies that they're telling themselves first and foremost. Okay. Well, it must be true. They believe it. I got them to buy it. But, you know, the way that a narcissist lies, you know, is manipulative in itself. You know, a lying already is manipulative, but the way that they're going to do it, they're going to spin a situation in a way that will make them look completely victimized. You know, everything's going to sound one-sided. You know, these are red flags oftentimes. They make crazy accusations, and then sometimes it's not even spinning a story. They're just flat out creating something out of thin air. Like their imagination, they should be writing books and stuff with that, using it for something positive instead of, you know, doing negative things. But yes, flying monkeys, they like to hide behind people, you guys. They like to use people as their puppets, and, you know, they'll tell them what they want them to know. It's not the truth. It's just what they want people to perceive. This is what they're going to tell the flying monkeys, and it helps them survive because they're not the ones who said this and that. They're not the ones who technically did it, but they're manipulating a person who may have lesser emotional intelligence, chances are, and they are being suggestive. Well, if I were you, I would do this. Well, I don't know. I think, but I don't know. We shouldn't do it. But, you know, but they're planting seeds and watering it and being passive aggressive and, you know, using their little word twists, getting the flying monkeys to do the work for them. This is what they're doing, you guys. This is definitely what they're doing. And then the flying monkeys become their enablers. And a lot of times, you know, they're blindsided by what the narcissist really is, or they're just toxic themselves. You know, birds of a feather can flock together, you know. All right. So yes, flying monkeys are definitely like something that the narcissists like to use. Number 4, they try to beat you to the chase. They'll try to beat you to the chase. Let's say they're the ones who are actually abusing you, but yet they'll run and get a restraining order on you first. They'll run and make a police report on you first. They'll run and start a smear campaign on you first. They'll run and tell all the friends and family and make you the bad guy first. Only they're doing it based off of lies and to protect their own self-interest. And when you were going to do it, you would have been doing it based off of truth. Even though it would have caused a narcissistic injury to them, it would have been truthful. But they will try to beat you to the chase. File the court documents first. Whatever it is, they're trying to beat you to the chase. So they can stand on remedial thoughts like, well, I did it first. Well, this person was already complaining about you, so it must be the facts, you know. So they use really basic, you know. Narcissists can be very basic, although there's a spectrum, of course, and some can be very sophisticated as well. So, but a lot of them, the typical narcissist is very basic. You know, you ever hear that term, basic chick? You know, just a basic dude, like basic. All right. So yes, they will try to beat you to the chase to protect themselves. And then, you know, we can think of this on other levels. Maybe you have a joint bank account with the narcissist and you guys had a bad argument, or, you know, the narcissist found out that you are filing a divorce or something, then suddenly they start removing large amount of funds out of the bank accounts and assets that you guys have together and such. So this is definitely something to consider. Beating you to the chase. All right. And that's why I always talk about moving in silence. It's hard for them to beat you to the chase if they don't even know what you're doing. All right. Learn to move in silence. All right. Move in silence. But a lot of times, you know, out of our anger and out of having something to prove to the narcissist of, you know, well, I don't want them to think they got me. So, boom, that's why I'm going to do this to you. You're letting them know. You're spilling the tea. Like, don't give them that heads up. Just let them be surprised and caught off guard for once. All right, let the karma hit them in that way. Okay. So yes, they will try to beat you to the chase. All right. So number 5 here on my list of how they try to survive, of course, what do you think is going to be? The mask. The mask. They're wearing different masks with different people. And this is how they can survive in this group, they're surviving in this group, and they're surviving in this group. They know them as this, they know them as that, and they know them as this. So they're using their mask and they are morphing to suit or fit in with the groups that they know. And that's why sometimes you can come and say, well, you know, it's over between me and this person because they treated me like this, and they'll be shocked, like, oh, really? This person has always been like this with me. And, you know, they're not relating to it because they don't know the person in that way. They haven't experienced the narcissist in the ways that you have, you know, and this can be very, very, very frustrating to survivors. All right. And yet again, you know, it's another reason why people come into coaching, because they're like, you know, I have my friends and family, but they act like a saint with them and they're still treating them nice, and people are just baffled and think that I'm, you know, overkill right now. I'm being hard on the narcissist. I'm, you know, stretching the truth. I'm exaggerating, this type of things. And, you know, and it makes the person, the survivor, feel less validated when the narcissist is already not validating it to begin with. So it could feel like two type of blows here. But the blows are harder, of course, to someone who's not standing strong within themselves. So there's definitely remedies and ways to be prepared for all these ways, of course, that they're trying to survive themselves. But minimally, if we are having that in our foremind and we know thy enemy, we understand how they move and operate, then we're not caught off guard. We're not caught off guard, you guys. All right. So let's go over the 5 things that the narcissist is doing to try to survive. Number 1, we said they go into flight mode. Yep. Trying to leave the scene of the crime, okay? Because they don't want to do the time. Number 2, lying and gaslighting. Yeah. Number 3, flying monkeys. They need enablers. They need people to do their dirty work, okay? And keep them protected. And meanwhile, they're manipulating those flying monkeys to do the dirty work. All right. Number 4, they try to beat you to the chase. Well, I said it first. I made the claim first. I made the allegations first. So it must be true. Number 5, changing their masks. Okay. Like what is it, a gecko? Yeah, they just change their skin colors and stuff to fade in and to fit in with the background. You kind of look at them like that, and not to bring down the gecko, okay? Because that's a cool animal or species. All right. So I hope that this video has resonated with someone. If it did, go ahead and hit that like button, you guys. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. Lots of content here. Take what you can to help you on your journey. All right, you guys. What else can I say? You can check the description below, of course, for everything that I have going on. And I do offer one-on-one life coach services. If you're interested in that, you can visit my website, lakiacrawford.com, and pick a package that works for you. Other than that, you guys, I've written 4 wonderful books that can also help you in your healing process or in increasing your emotional maturity. All right, so you can check those out down in the description as well. I run 2 support groups, guys, for survivors of narcissistic abuse. One is public and one is private, so you can check those out as well. All right, with that being said, thank you guys for all the love and support that you are showing the channel. I know that you're seeing like the new format right now. I hope that you guys like it. You know, the channel is called Reflection and Progression, and things are progressing. You know, thanks to all the love and support, and of course, you know, my hard work as well. Infinite Flourishing is my corporation, and those of you who have booked with me privately will see that name when you go to submit your payments. All right, so I wanted to just start rebranding and incorporating that here on the channel, because you know that is my ultimate goal, as the slogan says, is to water the mind. You know, and I see minds as sponges, and when we water a sponge, it expands. So you know, we are expanding minds on this channel, and that's what, you know, that's my purpose. All right, so I hope you guys are cool with that. Nothing else is changed. Of course, it's going to be the same quality content that you guys are used to. Just, you know, just a little design going on here. to incorporate the logo here as we are growing and expanding. All right, you guys. So thank you for all of your support. Great ways to support the channel is to always hit that like button. All right, and share this content to help YouTube's algorithm push it out. Being interactive on the channel, leaving comments, and I'm always open to suggestions and all types of things. So, you know, don't be bashful. All right. With that being said, you guys, never give up on yourself. Continue to do the work. And until next time, take care.